Welcome back to the North American LCS, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David Freak Turley. Taking over the caster desk with me for the next 2 games is my partner for the while, Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler. How you going?
Excited to see Reggie back. He's walking up on the stage here, bringing back old memories.
Yeah, it's the old TSM roster from last split. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun to watch. Now, guys, want to check in what you've been saying on Twitter. Earlier today, we asked you who's your front runner for the Week 7 NA LCS MVP and why. Here's a taste of the answers that we've got so far. Hales 80 says Link. If we had the whole season mid, we'd be talking about him with the same awe as Bjergsen. He can play utility and assassin.
After the way that game ended, I'm going to have to go ahead and say 100% agree on that one.
Yep. I think a chain is only strong as their weakest link, and he is definitely strong here. It's thought of it right there. Alex Carino2331 says Reginald is going to be MVP. His phenomenal shot calling secured TSM a first and second place in the LCS splits last year. TSM.
Yeah, some predictive tweets right there, seeing how Reggie will perform in this game. If he does well and TSM wins both their games this week, then hard to argue.
What if he outperforms Bjergsen?
The hard choices.
He'll start chanting USA some more.
He's done playing. He'll still start down.
Well, Ahale the Third says, I expect Scar to be Week 7 MVP. He has the opportunity to showcase his talents this weekend and carry for Dignitas.
Wow, that's a lot of hype for this game that we're going into then. Both the mid laners up for that MVP. 2 prospective
MVPs. We'll see where this one goes in this game. And, of course, guys, thank you so much for your for all the soothsayers who gave in their answers. We'll see which of you turns out to be correct. For now, we're going to send it over to Riv and Jat, who are joined by 2 members of the victorious CLG.
Thank you very much, Freak. We want to welcome Dexter and Link to the analyst desk to talk about another victorious match for you guys. Coming into that match, you guys seem to be having very strong performance. Where did the falter set in, and what was the communication when it happened?
This game?
Yes.
Well, we kind of lost our early game advantage at the very mispositioned dragon, I think, at the second dragon. And after that point, we couldn't really push our advantage that hard, and we had to out-rotate them, which we did. We did pretty good and clean rotations and took all outer turrets, but at the same time they had like Leona, Syndra for catch, and it was basically just who catches one first, and they played really defensively, set up everything in their jungle with wards, and basically we just had the same team comps, but yeah, whoever gets the first catch, but they have the advantage because of the Leona, they have long range engage, and yeah, we aim for something different this game, but we had to just use this pick, so.
And Link, there was a moment in that game where you guys continually were pushing the bottom lane while Curse was around the Baron pit. Why did you continue to try to pull off that trade of the top turret for the Baron?
What, you mean bottom turret?
Yeah.
Well,
mixed up.
Well, basically, there's no way we can 5v5 them, especially when we're going like headfirst into somewhere with no vision. Especially with all their catches. They have Leona, Vi, they have Syndra, so they can just like insta-kill anybody in the front line, or if not, well, they can at least stall like the front line while their back line kills everything. And they have Kaelin and Syndra who work really well together. But so basically, we just made the decision that hey, Baron's not gonna do anything. We're not gonna 5v5 them, even if they get Baron for like a very long time. Let's just try to get bottom inhib. And what I was trying to do there was I was just gonna try to install their base while we could potentially take their inhib and maybe end the game. But obviously that didn't work out. But it was a risk, and it was a risk that could have been a really high reward, but at the same time, it was something that where we wouldn't be affected too much because we had complete control over the bottom side.
Then how does it feel to be back in mid lane now that Dexter's here? You can sit in the mid lane. What's it like knowing that you're able to just kind of control the game?
It's kind of nice, I guess. Well, I mean, in a sense, I feel like the jungle still does control the game. It's basically the jungle and mid like that really do it. And I feel like that game was kind of a poor performance between us two. Like we could have done a bit more, and it's really hard for us to work together because like we're still getting to know each other, and we still have problems, and we're still communicating and trying to get better at that. But at the same time, like our mid game duo wasn't as strong as like something else. Like maybe it could have been like like Vi, LeBlanc or something, right? That'll work better than LeBlanc, Kha'Zix. And because of that, we couldn't make the plays that we needed to carry the mid game, and that's kind of our fault for picking kind of poorly. But it just so happened.
Right on. And Dexter, even before you kind of got here, CLG had a play style where you guys could win a game without getting a lot of kills. How did that kind of work? What formulates CLG to kind of get that result?
Well, you get this result if you just simply out-rotate the enemy. If you're better than the enemy at rotations, then you set up something, you push the wave, you have wave control, and if you know what's going to happen in the next minute of the game, and the opponent doesn't, then you have the clear advantage. And we usually just try to control waves, and we always ping the wave where we're going at. And yeah, if you have wave control, you can just form the waves like you want to take the objectives. And yeah, if we have good jungle control, like over the jungle, we have good visions, then we can just out-rotate them pretty much. And that's how you can win games without even getting kills.
Right on. And actually, we have a replay we want to bring up from the game. Before we set this up, I want you guys to see Doublelift and Alframu kind of enjoying this on the big screen. We'll get that up on your screen right now. You know, what's the feeling like when you guys can sit back and watch awesome stuff like this? Watch your teammates. Everybody's happy.
Well, after win, everyone is happy.
Yeah.
You know? It's like a really good performance. But yeah, I feel this game especially was like probably the poorest performance out of every win we did.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I actually I mispicked the Kazakhs 100%, and yeah, double assassin doesn't work that well against triple frontline, and we had a really hard time actually winning this game, and we only won because we out-rotated them, and yeah, if their rotation would have been better, we would have straight up lost the game, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, well, talk to me a little bit about that final play you made once again, Link. We heard it during the sounds of the game, how you just thought you'd be able to get Void Wave. Everyone else had Banshee's Veils, but you somehow went in miraculously by yourself and blew him up. Did you expect it to happen like that?
Not really. I just kind of like saw that opportunity. It just arose, and then I was just like, all right, I'm doing it. And you know, I managed to like W. I flashed forward, and then I got a DFG, and then I got another ulti off.
What was your actual combo order in here? Because it all happened so fast.
So it was W first, and then I flashed forward, I believe, and I DFG, and I used my second R, which is the third, which is the W again, and then I just Q him again, and I W back all the way to my original place, I believe.
Right.
And then Vi comes on me, but Aftermove saves me with Mikhail's, and then I managed to just kill him. So again, Aftermove Link synergy, man. Nobody ever sees that, but I'm telling you.
You got the Cowball combo,
Yeah.
you got the Mikhail's combo now.
Exactly.
All right, gentlemen, so looking forward, you guys have a game against XDG. Their recent performance was pretty astounding. How are you feeling against that?
XCG is going to be like, you know, I feel like they've always been good. They just needed to just find that one thing to hold on to, and they'll come back. And I think, you know, Xmithie back in the jungle with ManCloud mid, they're going to be a terrifying duo again. And, you know, it might take them a couple of games, but today I just felt like Xmithie really just did his work out there. And with the team, and I think Sheep is a really good addition. And I think that's what they need, and they're going to come back strong.
Yeah, and I came across an interesting stat. CLG has never won more than 3 games in a row since entering the LCS. Tomorrow you guys have a chance to get the first ever 4-game winning streak coming up. How do you feel about the consistent inconsistency of CLG, and how are you going to break it?
Well, I can't really talk for the team since I'm the new one, but yeah, I'm going to try my best to win as many games as possible, because it all depends on the playoffs, and if you go into playoffs with a lot of games, you have the confidence behind you, and yeah, I don't want to drop a single game from now on.
All right.
All right, well, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the recent consistency. Hope you guys can keep it going. We're about to send it over to Freak and Kobe for Dig versus TSM. But first, something for the next generation of pro gamers out there watching. Recently, one talented group of big-time players from Cerritos High School got the chance to visit our LCS studio and meet a few of their favorite pros.
I'm 17 years old, and I'm the team captain for Cerritos High School. We all met at like separate times, but we really got to know each other over League. I think among our team, we're probably each other's closest friends. Competing against the best high schools in North America was interesting. Our high school team was really stacked, but we went undefeated in the season, so it was a good accomplishment, I think.
The last tournament game that we played was against Jackson High School. One of our games went to like 60 minutes, but then we ended up beating them in a 3-0 stomp. We qualified for the Challenger Series, and we could play because we're a Challenger team.
I think we actually do have a shot at getting more than like 4th place.
I don't think it's in my future, but I think a lot of the other team members can go pro. My favorite pro player would probably be Aframu. We played with him a lot in solo queue, things like that. I'm pretty sure he recognizes some of us. I'm pretty excited to meet him.
You guys asked for me personally? That's so cool.
Yeah, we asked for you personally.
Damn. What roles do you guys play?
I'm supporter.
Support? Oh. What do I want, an 80 player? Really? Well, Doublelift, he's all right. He's all right. And positioning in team fights. Please don't die. What game are you looking forward to today? Hopefully my game.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? I'm Skara. You can call me William if you want. It's not a big deal. We live in Long Beach, and so we definitely pass your school at least once or twice.
We're all Diamond 1 challengers.
Oh, wow.
Do you have like any pointers as like a new up-and-coming team?
You guys all seem pretty close, right? Like, there's no like arguments, any of that. While you're in the middle of the game, don't worry about it. Like, always keep trying to win because it's not really productive to like analyze mistakes in the middle of the game. That's what we used to do for like 2 seasons.
They gave us a lot of insight. Ascara especially helped us a lot. His information that he gave us is going to be really valuable.
Before, they would just like see us as another fan, but then we were seen in like a different way.
This is my first time ever coming to the LCS studio. I'm watching LCS live.
And just watching all the games is really fun, and being with my friends.
It motivated me to play in the Challenge Series because it made me feel like I could be there too.
And with any luck, we'll see him in a year or so.
You could be there too.
Darn right. Turn 17, get Challenger, be really good at the game. Sure, right up here.
Easy.
It's a good road. Yeah, no big deal. These guys are only, so good at the game. Let's get right to it. Of course, Dignitas versus Team Solo Mid. It's a matchup that has a lot of history. Dignitas getting a bit of an edge, taking 5 of the 8 wins in 2013. Crowd's obviously ready for this match as well. But of course, with Bjergsen out this week, it's actually similar to the old Dignitas versus TSM matches we got last year.
Yeah, now it's going to be very interesting to see how much it changes the dynamics with Reginald stepping back in to cover for Bjergsen. The two are quite different as mid lane players. Bjergsen has racked up more kills and less deaths than Reginald has, but he's really a carry for his team. Meanwhile, Reginald, he acts as the team's initiator. A lot of mixed cheers here. Often, he sacrifices his own life for the good of the team. And in that process, he does most deaths in the North American LCS split. He's proud of that title.
Yeah.
He racks up also more assists than Bjergsen does. So he gets a lot more kills for the rest of the team. Doesn't actually last hit them himself.
People have been saying he's doing pretty all right for the team overall in general. Now, before it was Bjergsen filling Reginald's shoes. Now, of course, Reginald has to fill in the Burger Kings. And the rest of the team will have to kind of adapt their strategy because, as you were talking about, right, Bjergsen much more of a killer than Reggie here. But meanwhile, Dignitas is coming off a much-needed win last week against XDG. They broke a 5-game losing streak, and QTPie got his first and only win on Lucian in that process.
It looked like the team from a couple weeks ago, during their 6-game winning streak. So that's a great sign for them. They've played with a lot of coordination. Crumbs repeatedly ganked that top lane for Cruiser, and he helped get him going. Cruiser actually ended the game with 0 deaths, 3-0-8 as Trundle. Really strong game for him, one of the best that he's had.
Yeah, these guys keep going hit and miss, and Dignitas, they're really not sure which Dignitas team is going to show up from game to game, but they do know consistency is something they need to work on, and they're going to need it if they're going to beat TSM, the #1 team right now.
TSM looks like one of the strongest teams right now in North America, maybe even the strongest team.
Dig might be in a little slump. They were actually doing really, really well earlier with a win streak, but I'm not sure what happened after that.
We're halfway. We're in the middle of the pack. We're a team that, unfortunately, is historically inconsistent.
I think they were really good at one point, and they probably could have been a contender, but right now they're looking kind of like they haven't improved for like a couple weeks.
To beat TSM, you pretty much just have to have very, very consistent early game and be able to transition that into the mid-game team fights.
They're a very strong opponent, top of their league. Either we'll have games of complete genius and other games where it's, why is this team even in this league?
Depending on the picks, it's going to be mostly mind games all around.
Well, guys, check out the starting lineups here. On the blue side, it's going to be Dignitas, Cruiser in the top lane, Crumbs in the jungle, Skara in mid, and I'm a QTPie and Kiwi Kid on AD in support.
And on the red side, it's Team Solo mid with Dyrus up top, the odd one in the jungle. Reginald back now mid, Wild Turtle AD carry, and Expressor supporting.
Every time you say his name, the crowd erupts. They're missing his presence here. He's been backstage in the interviews the whole time.
He's a very polarizing figure.
Yes.
So everyone's going to have a strong reaction to Reginald being back in the studio.
Yep.
I, for one, am happy to see him here.
It's more polarizing than a bear. That leads us to our featured matchup in the mid lane, Skara versus Reginald.
In 2013, Reginald did favor picks like Karthus, Rise, and Twisted Fate. And these are all champs that have sort of fallen out of favor. I guess Karthus still around a little bit, but definitely Rise and Twisted Fate. So we'll have to see if he returns to his comfort picks or we play something new like Lulu today. Last year, though, Skara was usually able to get the best of Reginald in this matchup. He's had now 7 more weeks to play competitively as well. And while a lot of the old mid lane players have retired, he's still making a huge impact for his team. As we saw last week, going 4-0-3 on that Gragas versus XDG.
It's a big champ for him. And of course, Scar has also been playing a bit of Karthus. He's the only mid laner in NA to keep playing that guy for the most part. So while he's not that popular of a champion, the Death Singer might be contested, Gragas might be contested. I want to see which of like the Season 3 champions keeps getting played or if it's going to be new stuff here.
It's definitely, like, and whenever you play against Dig, it's always looking at the Gragas, but also the Karthus. Those two. And then Lulu's just so hot right now. I think those are the main 3.
It's funny because a lot of the picks are sort of cyclical. Reginald was one of the first cyclical, whatever. Pronunciation is hard. We'll go with it. But Reggie was one of the first guys to bring out Kale back in like pre-season 1, like 2009, 2010. And he was like, actually, I bet you Kale's pretty good with the 5-second invulnerability ultimate. Turns out it was. And like Kale's back, right? And like all these champions are kind of back in the mix again. And I want to see which ones have returned and he's still ready to play them, even if it's 4 years later. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Reggie, he's got a whole long list of champions in his history. The question is, though, the recent play, because your mechanics fall off on a champion without having played them recently.
Yeah.
And really, one of the most important things in League of Legends in matchups like the mid lane matchup, where you're just 1 versus 1 with someone, is knowing the potential damage output at each level that any champion has that you're going to be facing so that you can take the good trades. Because if everybody knew exactly how much damage every champion was going to put out at all moments, then it would be very easy to play. I say, okay, I'm not going to go for this trade. He obviously does more than me. But a lot of people, that's really where the skill comes in, making them make those mistakes and catching them off guard with those.
We even saw it in the first game of the day here. Gragas getting locked in for Dignitas, but you look at the High versus Mancloud matchup in our first game. When Mancloud all-ined him at level 2, High lived with about 13 health. And he was like one glitter lance away or one extra auto attack away from winning that trade, misjudged it.
And I think it was like Pobelter tweeted out that Mancloud was using cooldown reduction runes instead of magic resist for blues. So those little differences of the rune setup could mean the difference between First Blood and just dying.
Definitely could. So the Gragas does come through. Scar, happy to pick that one up, by the way. They banned the Lulu. We were wondering if Reginald would be the champion. LeBlanc, Lulu, Kassadin banned. Gragas picked up. We'll see what Reggie's, I guess, 4th pick would be, 5th pick would be at this point. But Sivir Thresh coming in early here for TSM. So these guys are ready to keep him safe and put out some good team fights.
They've been really big fans of the Sivir speed up late game team just crushing compositions of champions to make up. So no surprise there from TSM, locking that in early. And they're saving a Reginald pick till much, much later. Dignitas actually didn't throw 3 mid lane bans at Reggie as I expected. Also, they had to get that Pantheon off the table. He's just so strong right now for the early ganks. It kind of affects Reginald too, because you always talk about how Odd One is right behind Reginald in lane. Not having an early jungler like Pantheon will indirectly hurt Reggie.
And what's interesting to me as well is Dignitas is actually blind to pick both their solo lanes now with Gragas. Unless it's jungle Gragas, I guess it's a possibility, but Gragas and Trundle already picked up. The Annie support ready to fight against a very short range lane of Sivir Thresh. So there's a lot of things that can really tip to the favor one way or the other.
I'm definitely a fan of that early Gragas pick, just taking it away because you've already banned out LeBlanc and Lulu. Definitely fine with Gragas in all remaining matchups. Maybe Zed would be a good pick against Gragas. A couple of players have been talking about how Zed actually can beat. He's one of the few that will beat Gragas in the early laning phase.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. And of course, Cutie Pie back on Jinx, by the way, I gotta say. We haven't seen her played a lot recently.
Famous TF from Reggie.
I just don't think it's happening. Not so much, but yeah, so I want to talk about this a little bit, though. So Cutie Pie's back on Jinx, and if I recall correctly, he's undefeated on that champion. And we're like, when are you going back to Jinx? You've been losing all the time. She's like 5-0 on Cutie Pie. They bring it back out.
Now, the thing is, Jinx, they use Jinx a lot with lane swaps and pushing down the early turrets, but they also have Evelynn. That's kind of counterintuitive because Evelynn does not really enjoy lane swaps. Then it's very predictable where she'll come from the jungle, and she doesn't make as good of use of that invisibility. So that's an interesting combo there from Dig.
Well, they're going to go with the Zed anyway for TSM. I do want to see what they do. Dignitas lineup, because you're right about the Evelyn point, even though Jinx loves the 2v1 here. So it is going to be Zed here for Reginald, the odd one. Happy to be hasted up on Wukong with the Zephyr ulti, the Mundo as well. This is a pretty, I guess, sort of standard TSM lineup with Reggie back on a fairly comfort pick for himself.
Yeah, and it really shows how much confidence TSM have in Reginald to put him on a champion like Zed, you know, who can be a split pushing option late game, who can definitely be the focal point for a lot of their dives. He does not hesitate to go in when he sees someone out of position. So we'll have to see if Reggie can actually pull off his kills and escape as he's supposed to with Zed, or if he gets caught.
Well, I mean, for Reggie, with the aggressive player he is, going 1-for-1 is worth it for him. So as long as he gets the 1 in the kill column, he'll be okay.
Talking about aggressive players, he's pretty much the quintessential aggressive mid lane League of Legends player.
Yep, he locked him in. 3 aggressive disquintessences here. The game's about to get underway, guys. We'll see who you voted take the game. And according to lolesports.com, 85% of you think TSM's going to rack up another win.
They didn't hit their 90% mark. That could be a good thing, because a lot of teams getting those 90% plus votes have been losing.
Yeah.
Cloud9
XDG, TSM Coast last week.
Yeah.
It's the heavily favored games that are the upsets here. It's only if you're probably going to win.
So they want to get it right up to the high 80s.
89.4.
Don't break 90 or you're in trouble.
Don't round up. 89.4 is good enough for these guys. So 85 is the record here. And honestly, I like both these teams. I think these teams got what they were looking for in general. I think like Toronto versus Mundo top lane is going to be a whole bunch of fun. Like Mundo won't like die to the lane, because how are you going to like really dive him anyway? But then like Toronto gets to farm and like be an awesome Trundle bro, and he gets to steal a bunch of stats. So like all of these guys are kind of happy with where they start.
You know, yeah, we talked about how Cruiser had one of his best games ever on Trundle, but it was in large part due to the ganks from Crumbs early, or Cruiser, by the way. But yeah, Dyrus is a really big fan of Mundo. If he gets a little bit of a lead, then he actually goes aggressive. He's one of the players that really enjoys the early farming of Mundo, and if he gets that lead, then he'll turn on.
So thinking about the top lane matchup a little bit more, Cruiser also opened up Doran's Blade, so an aggressive player here.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be expecting some extra attention than probably from Crumbs. At least Evelyn trying to keep away the odd one from influencing that matchup, because whenever you have a Doran's Blade, you're signaling that you're going to be pushing your lane. So just right now.
Can he dodge 3?
Wow, man. I feel like Dyrus is not even trying to hit the. Oh, and he's trying.
4-0 on the briefcase game.
Cruiser the God!
Whoa! 5. As soon as he hits one, it's over. He's just waiting.
Dyrus is trying to fake him out.
Oh, okay. That gets one back.
Out. Okay. Now,
5-1 score.
The mid lane, though, the other solos here, Reginald versus Scar. Obviously, everyone's going to be watching this matchup. We did show that little graphic before. Reggie currently holds the 2013 record for all-time deaths in North America. How it stands now for all-time deaths in the North American LCS, Nintendude is the current leader. He's got 235. Reginald's at 202, so if Reggie can die 34 times this game, he will reclaim his spot as the all-time most deaths in the North American LCS. So he needs the support of the TSM fans. Hashtag 34 deaths the dream for Reggie. It's also funny, though, because Kiwi Kid was another player that had a very high death record. He's in this game. He only needed to die 4 times. If Kiwi Kid dies 4 times, he will be the holder of the all-time deaths in the North American LCS.
Hashtag 4 deaths the dream, bit easier to mouthful. See if you can go for it. Odd one. Level 2 gets his red buff. Crumb's doing the same. So these guys on opposite sides of the jungle. Crumb's going to end up in the top side after the blue buff. The odd one near the bottom side here. Cutie Pie and Kiwi Kid in their dual lane. Looks like they've got the early push going on. They've got the range lead, so I don't see why not. We'll see how far back they push Wild Turtle and Special. One of the strongest dual lanes in North America, according to Double FNAF from him. I believe it.
Ooh, Reggie. Wow. The early level 2 from Skara. He was able to get that creep first, taking advantage of it, doing a very good job there, leveling up that body slam. But we didn't really mention the wards there on the blue buff for Evelyn. They were trying to figure out where his path was going to be. All that they really know is that he started red, so he's probably up there right now. Because the top lane is pushed in, Dyrus does not really have to worry. As we said before, that Doran's Blade start Trundle obviously going to be trying to push his lane.
There's one thing I got to point out, though, is Crumbs on Evelyn, normally a very mana-hungry jungler, didn't get a leash at all that I saw and managed to clear red first and still clear the full waves. He's going to spot Oddwin here. Smite, not up for either person. Small Wraith goes to Odwin. He wins the counter jungling game.
4 gold.
Yeah,
Definitely
12 now.
worth the prize. Smite still not up for either jungler.
Kiwi Kid taking a bit of damage. Blade back as well. Half HP. Damage back onto Xpecial. He's going to be all right.
All right. So Odd One, we didn't actually get to see who finished it, but they both have Smite now. I assume Odd One got it.
Odd One got it, yeah.
Skara in that mid lane. He is running the hybrid penetration, so he's got that 8 armor flat pen. Just makes his body slams that much more potent, as we saw in that early trade when he rushed that level 2. Didn't hesitate to go right in.
Yeah, well, I want to point out what Crumbs has done, though. After his trinket came up from cooldown, he wards above the red buff, steals away a big golem, and he doesn't go for the dive onto Mundo, but he would know if Wukong were coming to stop him. So he put a ward, like a defensive, aggressive ward. It would watch the counter gank.
Yeah, so that's mainly for protection while he's stealing away the golem. If the Odd One came over while he was tanking the big golem, then it would go badly for the level 3 Evelyn.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Reginald.
He checks himself, wants to get into a better position here.
Doesn't want to reveal himself. Yeah, they don't know he's there. He's waiting in the brush. Scar's going to have enough mana. Oh, Kiwi Kid not in a good spot. Half HP, very low. Will they use Ignite? They put it on. One more attack. Three
he's
more
got the
attacks left.
potion. He should be okay.
Oof, close. He lives barely. 30 HP left in that one. Scar versus Reginald still here. Crumbs doesn't find anything.
So important to be chugging those potions as soon as you start taking damage.
Yep.
Kiwi Kid able to survive. He does actually not want that record, contrary to our opening statement.
Swallow shame a little bit here, but QtPie got to point out, in the early lead in minion kills here, got his support pushed out of lane a little bit as Kiwi Kid regens back up. He's still staying. Dyrus and Cruiser still fighting back and forth. You're seeing a small lead for Cruiser here. So I got to say, every lead, with the exception of Reginald versus Skara, actually going Dignitas' way, but Reginald's winning his lane.
Yeah. Doing a pretty good job, and he's had to deal with Crumbs hanging around. Evelyn, no successful ganks yet, but a lot of time spent watching all of the lanes. This is great start for TSM. Not having any successful moves from Crumbs yet, but he really wants to make something happen in the bottom lane. And Xpecial has been throwing out quite a few hooks. They might be able to bait this one in.
Let's see, they're going to push in forward right now with no pink wards down. They could sneak Evelyn into the brush again, but no way of checking that without face checking it. Looks like it's going to be Crumbs going back, though. So Crumbs has waited around for 2 ganks now, and he hasn't found either. This has resulted in 10 minion kills in the Odd One's favor so far.
Yep. Exactly, as we said, that's exactly what TSM want. Odd One trying to rush that level 6 for his high-impact Wukong gank. Because if they can get just the knock-up there, it should be enough time for Reggie to pull off his combo and get enough damage down onto Skara. As we said, you know, Skara, he's got those armor pens, so he's trying to get himself into melee range to get auto attacks off. But if he gets too close, then he opens himself up for ganks from the Odd One.
Well, we'll see what happens. Looks like Crumbs managed to leech enough experience by sitting in lanes that he hit level 5 just before Odd One. Dyrus teleported back to lane with a giant spell, only down 8 minions here. But that spell's down in case TSM wanted to Dragon at around 11 minutes. That would just barely be up. See if that matters here. Dignitas happy to push the lane out, and then looks like maybe recall. Just enough money for a BF sword here for QtPie, so well timed.
No invade for secondary buffs. Everybody playing it very, very defensively. You can see the pink ward super early too. Big fan of the defensive pink wards. It will see Skara coming in and placing that ward. So not only will the Odd One be able to clear it out, but he could also use it as misinformation. Now that he knows there's a ward there for Dig, he can feed false information to Dignitas and work around it. Or he can just clear it out, get some cash.
Whichever, you know. As long as you look cool while doing it, doesn't matter what you do. 300 gold lead, very small here for TSM. Bottom lane's both getting the recalls, both actually differing builds here from the support. So Ancient Coin for Kiwi Kid, he's going towards Talisman of Ascension fairly early on. Xpecial recalls back for a Ruby Crystal. This is 4.2, it's the 475 gold Ruby Crystal. We're rushing the Sightstone here.
And they both also buy pink wards.
Yeah.
I mean, it's especially important for Xpecial to get pink wards because he's facing an Evelyn jungler. But Kiwi Kid wanting to use that to gain bush control as well. So
yeah,
very interesting double purchases there.
Would you say it's especially important?
No, I would not.
Okay.
I'll leave that to you.
All right, well, I said it.
Dyrus,
Dyrus,
though.
half HP. Cruiser, some good damage. He has Ignite. Dyrus pops his ulti right now to get his health back up. The dive was almost available there. It was getting a bit closer. If Evelyn were there, they probably could have gone for it. Reggie finally does sweep the ward away. 15 gold for him, 15 for the pink ward dropper.
All right, so we have hit the level 6 for both junglers. And it looks like the point for Crumbs to go is dive Dyrus. After he just used that ultimate, he won't have it available for this dive.
Here we go. Cruiser puts the W down. There's the ulti coming in. The pillar on the other side of it. There's nowhere for Dyrus to go. Flashes around, but they're still being tanked by Cruiser, who barely even takes damage from the whole thing. Gets back with half HP. There's the kill.
Yep, as we said, no ulti for Dyrus. Cruiser does have his available, and the classic dive Mundo around the mid game and just take his turret here. Very, very good way for teams to punish those Mundo picks, not let them get to late game. But Odd1 wants to answer. The level 6 Wukong gang coming in.
Flash play, the box comes in. Cutie Pie around the backside. There's the Cyclone, picks up one. Kiwi Kids got nowhere to go. He's going to find his first death of the game as well. Got 3 to go.
No teleport for that dragon, but they don't need it because they have command of the bottom lane.
Nice knockback from Scar, but there's another shadow around. Reggie doesn't want that one, though. He flashed. Didn't want that clone at all.
Yes, you can take the shadow to close that distance again, but you decided that was way too much damage there from Scar and rightly flashed out. That's one of those things.
What?
He
sidesteps it anyway.
He still got it.
Yeah.
Reggie still got the moves, even with the slower shadow on Zed now. I mean, that was a long time ago that the change was made, but Reggie played a long time ago, so.
Made it happen. He's all right. So here we go. Small gold lead now to TSM. Actually smaller than I would have expected for a team that has a Baron, or sorry, a Dragon kill, but I guess the top lane turret making that gold a lot closer than it would have been otherwise. TSM capitalized off their 2-man kill bottom lane.
So some of the gold difference will be the items from the supports, you know, the upgrade there from Kiwi Kid. But it means that Special will get an earlier Sightstone, so he will have more ward coverage early. It will never show up on the scoreboard for gold, but he won't have to spend as much gold for his vision.
He updated it a little bit. You got about 80 gold so far from the Talisman. About 100 right now, actually, the Talisman for Kiwi Kid. So, not actually covering part of this deficit, I suppose. So Dignitas. Let's see where they go with this one. They've got a very powerful top laner. Cruiser has his Cutlass done. He's got a Negatron Cloak to survive the eventual Sunfire Cape of Dyrus. This lane matchup, you're still seeing it be very scary for the TSM top lane. You see how far back Dyrus is playing. Cruiser does not have teleport, though, so he can't rejoin fights. He just has to win his lane as hard as he can.
Well, it should be fairly easy without that extra turret. Dyrus is very much open to Evelyn ganks. Extremely easy for Crumbs to repeat visits up there. And you can see that's why TSM, they've got this whole top side blocked off from pink wards here. Whichever way Crumbs comes through, Dyrus will be notified. However, it might cost them that pink ward, depending on Crumbs' actual footsteps. However, right now, he's down bottom, looking to try and get that Jinx back on track.
Good set of wards, and I gotta point out though, as you talked about Crumbs a second ago, he did go Elder Lizard here on Evelyn. Now that only is gonna get applied by his basic attacks and his E, but he wanted to go Lizard anyway. Jump on a Wild Turtle, the Lantern's there, gets by the root just in time. They're gonna be safe with that one. They pull in Tibbers. Goodbye,
50
Sweet
gold.
Bear.
Hey, that's a lot of money right there.
Yeah, well played. Dyrus on a half
that.
HP, has an ulti. He's all right. There you go. Health coming up there. No one's looking to dive that one. But Crumbs lurking back towards the bottom side right now. He might have walked by a pink ward on the river.
He's spending so much time just watching the lanes. Even just the last catch onto Wild Turtle there, he had zero effect on it. He was just watching all the action happen. He's a fan of the Kiwi Pie lane. I want to see their mechanics in action.
I would eat Kiwi Pie.
Now he's rotating around back though. Second guesses himself. The pink ward at Dragon. I don't know if it saw him actually walk by there because Crumbs didn't try and kill it.
Good spell shield.
Reggie the target!
Knockback out of Reggie. The ulti comes by as well. A lot of damage coming across. There's Death Mark. Not going to be enough damage. Crumbs barely even takes pain there. Nice kill picked up. There's the synergy.
Yeah, Reggie not having that flash definitely cost him there. Odd1 tries to CS at the turret, but it's very dangerous for him. Skara can harass pretty well with those barrels even under the turret. And they decide to turn their sights once again towards the bottom. He'll see the pink ward this time for sure. No?
Doesn't want it.
Walks right by it.
He knows it's there, but he just wanted to go back into the river.
It's dangerous for him to spend 5 auto attacks sitting there.
Yep.
Vulnerable in the river.
Yeah, his bottom was getting pushed in. You knew Odwin was there in mid, ready to move down with a red buff and Cyclone. So yeah, I think it's a good choice by Crumbs not to go for this one. Boots and a Lizard Elder still all he's got so far. Boots and Lizard Elder the same for the odd one. These guys on equal item footing for now.
Now, even though Dyrus did get that early attention from Evelyn and he was killed under his turret, he's done a fine job of staying in CS since then. The 20 CS lead, a lot of them died at that turret for the dive, but since then he has been doing fine, just CSing at his secondary turret here and keeping Cruiser very far.
Wow, pretty
territory.
Yep, that's not going to do much.
Yeah, that was very lackluster.
Tried to force it.
That went off there.
I feel like there's a way you could actually outplay those traps by having Sivir go in first and spell shield one, and like if everyone runs through that little gap in the traps, you could try to force the gank
Just
anyway.
the conga line through the flame chompers?
You just follow the AD carry and they'll lead the charge. That's the best way to position team fights.
Yes, the AD carry in the
front.
lead.
And you totally won't kill him afterwards, don't worry. It'll be fine. Let Sivir face tank. We're going to go into this game. Look at the gold so far. 500 lead in the top lane. Jungler's fairly equal. Mid laner is fairly equal. Not splitting apart much. Dyrus and Cruiser in another fight as well. That Ice Pillar really slowing Dyrus down. Overlaps his own slow with the Cutlass. Just going to put Dyrus at about 2/3. The Cruiser's not building much of a lead here. He's been plus 15-ish for a very long time here, and it's not gone anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Dyrus is doing a good job sticking in the CS, even though there was that dive. Those 2 pink wards still standing.
Yeah.
With all the time that Crumbs is spending bottom and mid. They're doing okay here. Odd one does come in for tower support.
Yeah, TSM has 3 pink wards on the map. They've had them for a while. Crumbs waiting in the wings. Doesn't get spotted.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, this is going to be nice by Reggie. There's Cruiser a little bit low. Pops the ulti already. Good flash. Here comes in the Shadow Clone, though. Reggie with the Ignite on as well. Will it be enough damage? Cruiser takes the cleaver to the back of the head.
Dyrus helping.
There it is. Kill picked up. Reginald nicely played. Dyrus for the assist as well. It's going to be mid lane under siege, but good roam.
Yeah, Skara makes the odd one go the long way around the turret, too, to get a couple more auto attacks off. Turtle needs to get to the lantern!
Oh, the stun comes in, and Cutie Pie shoots one last shot. Going to pick up the kill. 141 to 126 CS, and a kill now.
Crumbs rewarded for his patience there, and that was a lot to do with Odd One being dragged up to the mid lane. So all the rotation from TSM up towards the top side of the map cost them on the bottom side there. Turtle getting caught out, and now they want to fight over the dragon, but the teleport from Dyrus comes in.
Okay, wow. So they burned the teleport because of Wild Turtle dying. The teams needed to get some people down there, 4v4. TSM bring the TP, and now they're actually the team looking to sweep away Dragon. And unless Cruiser comes by, it's going to be an outnumbered fight.
Any long-range shot you can get on Wukong is great at this time because a lot of jungle Wukongs and Odd One in this game building full offense so far makes him very, very, very squishy. If you can chunk him down at the beginning, then it's very easy to just combo him with a mage like Gragas and blow him up as soon as he comes in.
Well, there we go. The Flame Choppers die out. Dyrus in the front. There's the knock. The Odd One gets on the floor. Cruiser on the back lines. Kiwi Kid low on health. Gets dropped down. Wild Turtle picking up a kill. 3 for 1 so far in this fight. Skara left alone and sad. Hextrigger's going to stay up all that. Cruiser picks up 1, so it's a 3 for 4 battle.
1
Not
versus 2.
too bad.
King of the Trolls versus Reggie and Turtle. They decide to call it a draw. Everybody leaves the site of the crime. Nobody wants Dragon. We'll return after the rest of the team respawn. Let's take another look here because this is Wukong getting in for the 4-man ulti. He does burn flash for it. It won't be available again, but the On the Hunt able to chase down both members here. And as we know, Scar does not win this battle. Early Hexdrinker from Reggie, rushing that one.
Yeah, just the burst that came out. The Odd One dealt so much damage in that fight. Even though Cruiser took down 2 guys basically by himself, the resulting 4v3 on the other side was too much for him to deal with.
Yeah, I have to say, landing that 4-man Wukong ulti was crucial to the team fight for TSM.
Yeah.
And the Hex Drinker, I mean, that's great against Skara, but, you know, Crumbs, with the way that he's building, does a lot of physical damage and true damage. Evelyn now, it's very much mixed damage with the extra changes. So you can't just itemize straight magic resist and be okay.
Yeah.
Trundle as well, you know, he does a lot of magic damage with the ulti, right?
Sure.
Blade of the Ruined King, boom, much more physical.
Couple attack speed buffs, a lot of extra AD as well. The Titan's going to come in. Crumbs looking for the battle right there. Special down to half HP. Smite comes in, picked up by TSM. The battle starts. Dyrus drops down early. Cycle's going to hit many, but Auburn has nowhere to go right now. Lantern picked up by Reggie. Actually grabs it one away. Auburn would have liked to grab it. So 2 for 0 fight as payment for a Dragon. Now, can Dignitas pick up anything else for this?
Right. The big kicker here is the objectives left on the map here. Mid turret, easy target, and top turret has a giant wave. So they can easily take this mid and rotate up to the top one to grab 2 turrets. They've only got 10 seconds left on the odd one, though.
They don't get
wave
anything.
gone.
Wow, TSM, Wild Turtle especially, clearing the wave away. They had sent Crumbs to push the bottom lane in. Got a little bit greedy, didn't have enough resources to take mid.
They split all of them. They're still not giving up on mid, though.
Okay.
TSM are now the ones getting a little greedy. They split. Reggie goes up top. They do not defend the mid turret, so it is 1 down in answer for Dragon.
Yeah, and the buffs just respawn. So blue buff right now being controlled by Dignitas. They got a pink ward. They know no one's coming to defend this one. Crumbs will get this pretty safely.
Has to be careful here.
I think he's okay. He saw the whole team with wards. He has to know.
Yeah.
Wow, the damage coming through, though. Dignitas really not flinching off this one. There's just no rotation by TSM. They just didn't defend this turret.
Yeah, they're trying to trade turrets. They're trying to trade for top and mid here. Turtle can put out a lot of damage. So can Reggie. But they have to try and delay maybe a couple of these backs. Looks like Crumbs and Scar both made it already.
That's very well done. So the aftermath of everything, it's 2 second-tier turrets for 2 outer turrets.
Yeah.
They're only worth about 75 gold different. And, of course, Dragon for 2 kills as well. So a pretty long-term, fairly equal trade.
Also, the local gold from those 2 outer turrets focused on the 2 carries for TSM.
Yeah.
Reggie and Turtle both get a pretty big selfish boost to their gold values here.
Good stuff for these guys. We'll see what they can do with it. Crumbs sweeps away, sees no one is there spying on his blue buff. Will he find Reginald?
Well,
I don't know if he wants to fight, though. He's got an ulti. Okay, Deathmark
Reggie
comes in.
wants to fight.
Crumbs trying to run away. Does not have his own ultimate. Yeah, he's going to try to run away from this one. Survives the Deathmark very well. Of course, it's a tank Crumbs. Look at that. He's got almost Randuin's and a Ninja Tabby.
Hey, just asking the wrong question here. Does Crumbs want to fight? Yeah, probably. But Reggie definitely does.
He pieced the heck out. Yeah, sorry. I was like, it's an Evelyn. She must be squishy. No. Season 4, 2014, Evelyn's built a lot tankier.
Man, look at all the wards, too, from Dig. They're just everybody trying to play their part here. Crumbs also even picking up the pink to drop down so they can get 2 of those on the map. Trying to increase that vision. Meanwhile, speaking of pink wards, those same 2 that TSM have had up top, still there. And the one, it's a new one at Dragon, actually. That one had to be replaced.
Yeah. But it's back, and as pink as ever. It's just as pretty. They're good. Guys are fine. Mid lane, easy to clear out. Scar playing a lot of Gragas games of late. A very burst-heavy build. You know, he didn't go for the Athenes. He knew he was fighting Reginald, an AD assassin on Zed. So he went for the early Seeker's Arm Guard, but then rushed Death Cap. So Scar has a lot of ability power, enough armor to live. But just not as much mana if blue ever gets stolen. But to be fair, he's never lost blue buff this game.
Yeah, he's looking for those real high-impact ultimates. I mean, we're nearing the stage of the game where it's getting pretty dicey for both. They are really going to fight over vision from this point on because all the outer turrets are down for both teams. And the vision becomes so much more important at this stage, especially when you're running with a team with Sivir, who has the ability to catch anyone if they do get out of position. And same goes for Dignitas. You know, they have an Evelyn roaming around the map. Very, very tricky to keep track of now that it's so open. Both sides have to be looking for the picks at this point.
Let's see what they can find.
Right now, bottom. They do not have the teleport on their team, so that's something that TSM always have in their back pocket. Is even though this is a 1v1 up top with Dyrus pretty much holding his own, he can join the team at any moment.
So I think, I'm fairly sure of this one. I don't know for completely certain, but I'm fairly sure that if you land the pillar right, you can stop a channel teleport. So if Dyrus TP's in his face, Cruiser can stop him. So there's some, it's kind of like Renekton status. It's like if you're in the certain range, he can stun you. So as long as he hides in the fog, Dyrus will be okay, but it's something to keep in mind. Right now, Cruiser still trying to get the push on. Still only 14 minions ahead. That CS lead has not gone anywhere. Mid laners, AD carries, junglers all pretty equal. Dyrus going to jump in there, low on health, flashes away. He's trying to get out of this one, dodges the zap as well. Will the rocket go down? A lot of pain coming through. Doesn't quite land it, but Kiwi Kid's going to finish this one. Odd one shows up, knock up under the turret. Are they going to follow up well? Flow comes in, the whole team of Dig is there. The knockback on the turtle! What a shot, but what a lantern by Xpecial!
Wow, so they do catch a Dyrus. Dignitas are the ones with the pick. They find him sleeping. Good flame chompers there from QTPie. And even though Dyrus, he dodged the zap, he dodged the ulti as well from Jinx, still goes down. And even though Dig deep under the turret, great ulti from Scar to pick up another kill. Flash stun there from Kiwi Kid. Oh, the Flame Temper actually never went off. Dyrus was able to get out in time. But man, dodging both of those, he's still not able to answer. Odd One tries to keep them under the turret, and Turtle rightly wants to capitalize, but man, Scar with the perfect Gragas ultimate. Those are the ones that you're dreaming about. The AD carry forward, rest of the team backward. X-Special's there to save the day, though.
Yeah, he actually had that one down the first time to save the team. While Turtle, I believe, flashed to the Lantern, knew it was only way out, and managed to get himself to safety. That was pretty fun fight to watch, but it turns out to be just an extra turret picked up for Dignitas and the 1 kill. So now these guys sit at an 800 gold lead. They're up the entire second ring of turrets here and 2 champion kills, but they're down dragons. We'll see what else they can do in this game.
I have to say, it's really all about Dig's movements across the map, because in a straight-up 5v5, it's hard for them to push turrets against Sivir with Static Shiv. Very, very difficult for them to work in, even though they have Jinx Rockets and Gragas Barrels. Both these teams pretty evenly matched. TSM going to trade this Dragon for positioning on Baron. You know, Dig don't want to burst it down because they've had a lot of problems around Baron. But they still, gaining vision around Baron is an objective in itself.
It is, it is. And you mentioned them not wanting to sort of rush down Baron. I mean, we saw how rough it could be for these guys when they're grouped up. Oddon's had a couple of incredibly strong ultimates so far in this game. He's added a Brutalizer. Going tanky now. And, you know, the ward game's starting up a little bit, but I want to see if Dignitas just focuses hardcore on getting Baron control or if they do much else right now.
Baron does not want to do his taxes. Dyrus angering him.
Hit more briefcases now on Cruiser.
He had practice.
2 in a row. Yeah.
Practice in the early game pays off, guys.
He learned the ways he was juking.
X-Special did not learn, though.
Nope.
Takes the hit from Dyrus.
And it warns you, too.
Interesting chase here. Do they have QTPie? Yeah, Kiwi Kid's got his talisman, and he's got the extra flash cooldown upgrade for his boots. So he's ready for those engages. Just wants to wait on that flash. As soon as it's back up, they'll be ready to all in.
You know, I'm surprised by something, actually. Is Kiwi Kid has been really tunneling on getting Annie so often. He's had such a good performance in the champion almost every single time. And teams just really aren't fanning it out. Like, it seems like, in general, Kiwi Kid gets Annie more often than not. And they're just like, yeah, just play your most comfortable champion. No big deal. That surprised me still.
Yeah, he has definitely liked the roaming aspect, too, from Annie. The support game right now, though, there's so many champions to focus on Dig. Like, Scar is definitely one that a lot of people focus on.
True.
So there's so many different things to think about. But interesting idea there for future opponents. Try and ban out the Kiwi Kid.
Oh, they get the catch onto X-Special. The pillar as well. He's going nowhere. Kill picked up there by Crumbs.
So that's why vision around Baron is an objective in of itself, because you can get those kills just by playing on that vision. The double pink wards pay off right there. And now it's TSM having to work around the same situation. Even though X-Special was fairly careful checking it with his lantern. Very dangerous here. I guess Dyrus is the
He's got a totem. He's fine.
Is the only person who could safely do this, since he's a tank and he has a long-range skill shot to check with.
Yeah, his warding totem was up, put it down, and then they pinged the brush that Dignitas was in. They're like, they're not doing Baron, they're right here.
Watch out for the rotation, though. Pillar.
She's got ulti, though. Yeah, she's fine.
That's a great win, though, for Dignitas.
QTPie, this is not a good win for him. He's taking a lot of damage. Barrier goes down. The stun comes up for the red shield. He's barely going to live, and the Ignite is going to take him down, but the fight has begun elsewhere. Cruiser down to half, trying to run away. Beautiful explosive cast, but it's not going to land onto much. Kiwi Kid on the side, Scar taking damage. Dyrus and Wild Turtle not done with this one. It's actually a 2-for-1 fight, I gotta say.
Yeah, Reggie able to draw so much attention in his efforts to burst down QTPie there that it was left to be Cruiser 1 versus 3 the rest of TSM. They got a huge advantage as far as life bar goes, and now they're rushing this Baron. Scar has no ulti, used it in the last fight, but he can still put out considerable magic damage.
Dyrus and Avon, though, happy to tank Wild Turtle. Spell shields a Q, and this Baron down to 3,000 health. No one's around to steal. It's gonna go to TSM almost for sure. Nobody's in range. There it is, picked up by the Oddman. Kiwi Kid runs, barely dodged the hook. He learned. Runs by a ward. He'll be safe, though. But a Baron picked up off a 2-for-1 for TSM.
Now, you have to think, those types of plays where Reggie just went straight on to Kiwi Kid, you know, Cutie Pie,
yeah,
and drew the whole team to himself. Yes, Reggie died for that, but he drew so much attention, and the rest of the team was able to get a lot of damage on him to dig. Turns out for an objective for them.
And he killed a Jinx. Like, that's probably the most important target to get rid of in a team fight.
Yeah, he barely got it, but that counts as a win for TSM there.
Like, it was like almost scumbag Kiwi Kid because he dealt damage preventing some lifesteal that Cutie Pie would have gotten. I feel like it was still the right choice to stun him, but for what it's worth, it's like you just like wish the wolf camp were still there and someone could like clairvoyance it for you to shoot one last attack. Would have been enough to make him live.
Interesting move from Dig. Even though TSM are baroned up, they're the ones aggressing on the map, pushing up, strong on this bottom side.
Trying to bait this a little bit. Crumb's got into the bar successfully. No one's there even trying to defend. Yeah, Wild Turtle knows. TSM went to Worlds. They know the Fnatic tricks. Not checking any loon brushes. They're all right. All right. Wild Turtle tames some minions. Going towards Infinity Edge. No defensive items for the short-range AD carry. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
We've seen, like, last night we watched a game with a Caitlyn who went third item, GA, and we're like, you were already safe. It's a waste of damage. Wild Turtle just going for the punishment here.
Relying more on the positioning and the spell shield. I think that's pretty good defense, considering he's mainly worried about the first Gragas ulti, and he can use that speed to just reposition himself. A lot of the AD carry players really talking about how much defensive power is in movement speed, and why that makes Sivir such a great pick for the late game.
More range than most people.
It also enables your front line to be more aggressive, and then that forces your enemy's DPS to focus on your front line, and it's harder for them to dive onto you.
Yeah, and I remember talking to Doublelift about this at the beginning of this season, and he was saying that, yeah, Mundo is like my worst enemy as an AD carry. He walks up to me, he tanks my damage for long enough that he can kill me with Sunfire Cave and Cleavers, and if you let that Mundo sit on top of you with more movement speed, you're definitely not getting away. Cutie Pie might have a really hard time in these fights.
All right, so this Siege, Sivir very much a short-range AD carry and does not have another weapon to use, unlike Jinx. So we'll have to see. Maybe Dyrus stands in front of them, trying to screen for some turret damage here. These secondary turrets will not regenerate like the inhibitor ones, so any little attack that they're able to get off on it. 1-2.
There we go, the flash initiate is going to land on the Dyrus. Not the guy they wanted, though. Knockup's not going to land on him much either there from Skara. Kiwi Kid, that's not a hook you wanted either. So much pain coming across. And the Wukong initiate comes in. Reggie in from the back as well. 1 for 0 so far. Cutie Pie, the target of attention. Will he pop? Not quite. Does burn down, though. It's so far a 2 for 0 for the battle. Coming back across. Is the damage coming in? Looks like it's not going to. Dignitas gets aced for only 2 kills. TSM coming up huge.
Oh, really big there for TSM. Able to get this bottom turret, and they will be able to go on the inhibitor turret as well.
Oh my god. And the crowd told you which team won that fight. I believe it was TSM. I could be misunderstanding, but I'm pretty sure you guys called that one right. You guys should be up in this desk. You guys got the names completely down. Bottom inhibitor goes. A couple respawns coming in for Dig. They're going to back off of just that.
All right, let's watch this one more time. As we said, Dyrus would stand in front of Wild Turtle. He does take the Tibbers, but that's exactly what TSM wants. And then Odd Ones decides to call the decisive shot there, going in onto Kiwi Kid because of that hook that was previously landed by Xpecial. This is where it gets dicey, though, because Dig are fighting between their turrets. They decide to try and answer back. Just way too much damage from the Sivir, though. As we said, Turtle, as soon as he didn't have to worry about the initiate from Annie anymore, the flash stun was down. He was able to get right back in there. All of those offensive items really paying off, and he shreds Dignitas.
He's 6-1-6, and I know we talked in the pregame about how good is Reginald going to be. He's 4-2-6 in this game, in a game that's off by 1 kill, so obviously incredibly close as far as fights are concerned. But he dove in on Cutie Pie and then jumped back to his ult clone pretty early on, survived with about 400 health left, knew that's about how much damage he could take, and it facilitated Cutie Pie dying. So he's playing these fights really well, even with being outside of the professional scene as a player for a while.
Yeah, so it's not an all-in when you have a shadow to escape to. All-ins are when you have no escape, like your Pantheon. You jump in, there's no way, you're not getting out of there. Reggie, though, he's using his life bar, saving his escape for the right time, and he has been able to, well, he was able to get out that time.
And games are definitely pretty close today right there. 7.9 thousand gold, putting TSM slowly into the lead. These guys are definitely looking pretty good for themselves.
Wow, CLG is losing control of this game. Come on, guys, pick it up. Jeez.
I don't think CLG is going to win this game, Kobe.
Dang.
I think they have no chance.
Good thing I'm not going to take that bet. All right, though. TSM looking to post up. They do have the bottom lane pushing. Dyrus has teleport available. He can split the mid.
Oh. Briefcase hits pretty hard. Like for like classy Gragas, who like I feel like is no stranger to having a briefcase, still very shocked by those showing up in his face.
Dyrus gonna stay mid lane as Scar roams back and forth, making use of the body slam to try and farm mid, keep it clean, and then return in case there's a dive from TSM. We also saw Reggie practicing his shadow mechanics and then push up there.
Looks like this is going to be tier 2 turret going down though pretty securely for TSM. So some measured building destruction there, putting their hard hats on a little bit.
It's a very easy end game call here for TSM. They've got so many advantages with the Baron buff and the teleport on their team. They can continue to just drain the gold away from Dignitas here.
Yeah.
As you can see, they're cleaning up the entire jungle, and they retain control of the map. Baron come up in 23 seconds. Means that even though they don't have complete vision control over it, as long as they shove up all the lanes, it puts the same similar pressure onto Dignitas.
Okay, so they can't sneak it, but they can at least know where Dig is right now.
Exactly.
There's a couple
You
of wards
see,
available.
The bottom super minion line being on a Nexus turret will eventually take that turret by itself if left unattended, because it is one of the side lanes. So Dignitas really in a hot spot here. They have to make a decisive move. They're going to answer the Baron.
Well, Dyrus in the front lines, the rest of TSM shows up. They go for Crumbs right now. A lot of pain coming onto him. He's not going to have any good way of getting out. The flash over the wall, 3-4-man knocker from the odd one. Crumbs about to go down. He's trying to run away. The odd one might be the first one to fall. They trade 1-for-1 so far. But again, Cutie Pie has dropped in this game. The escape now trying for Dignitas. Of course, bottom lane still under siege. Cruiser trying to get himself away. But there's so much damage coming in from Wild Turtle. He's going to take him down. 2-for-1 fight right here. And another turret's going to fall as well. TSM making it big.
TSM have not missed a beat. Reggie right back in the driver's seat here. Dignitas come to answer, and they turn it right around on the odd one. Fearless in his initiation. Didn't matter that he was sacrificing himself. Grab the kills on Dig, enable his team to take down another inhibitor turret. This should probably be 2 here.
Ooh. They're going to go 4 versus 3. The rest of the team is going to be here to defend. Crumbs is flanking. They might want to take this fight. He's waiting around just off screen to the north. They're not going to go for it, and Inhib goes down. So now 2 dead inhibitors, and the wards for Dignitas are mostly all dead around Baron now.
Yeah, I mean, still only a 3-man team there for Dig to try and combat that TSM offensive. Yeah. Very dangerous. All right, so Dyrus getting in there. He's got the rando and slow. Odd one also following it up with this beautiful flash. Again, he gets all 5 knocked up at some point, and then he's able to go in and finish off the kill, too. Getting some gold for the jungler. Worthy sacrifice there. From then, it's easy for TSM to chase down because they have Sivir and Mundo.
And one more attack. 441 damage crit, despite a bunch of armor items being there for Cruiser. Sunfire Cape, Ninja Tabby, and part of the Randuin. So you're seeing the armor pen work out.
Double Bloodthirster on Wild Turtle, 1 for each hand.
I like it. What does he bounce the Infinity Edge on his nose? It's like a juggler.
Dang, where'd you put that static shiv then? Don't want to know. TSM have 2 inhibitors down. They can play the exact same game. Just wait for Dignitas to come over to Baron.
Well, leave it to the back of the head for Scar. He's not going to be happy with this one. Might leave a scar.
Ooh, TSM Dyrus.
He's got a lantern. Takes it. He's all right. Fireball is going to stun him a little bit late.
Wow,
Cruiser already burned his ulti.
They got the ulti down from Cruiser. That's actually a very important cooldown. This should be a Baron for TSM, and then either shove straight on Nexus turrets or go right down that top lane. They're very, very, very happy with the debut of Reggie so far.
It's going to be the Baron taken down with no contest this time around. Little drop. I predict TSM gets it. Yes. That's a high five. I just want a high five for that one.
I am sick right now, so I don't know if you want that high five.
Just wash your hands. It'll be fine.
Now they do come down.
Gonna go down. Yeah.
Top lane here, as expected. By the way, that's just a visual bug. Wild Turtle's not wearing 2 Baron buffs right now, and neither is Dyrus.
He's got 2 Bloodthirsters though, so
yes,
it's all right. Gonna move in. It's gonna be a dead turret here. The inhibitor available, but here comes the engage. Threshold a little bit low. The jump in onto Crumbs. Mass knock up there from the oven, but they have cut it out a little bit more successfully this time. The jump in again onto Crumbs, taking a bunch of pain there from the ulti. He's gonna barely get away from this one. Gonna pop the GA though as well. 2 kills coming across, 3 kills coming across. TSM, 4 kills now, winning this fight very hard. The ace comes through. They're gonna take this game down in 38 minutes.
TSM, finish off the Nexus. Very, very happy, that guy right there.
Yep.
Coming back strong.
From coach to player, has a better win percentage than Bjergsen. Reggie and Dyrus sharing a big hug. I like the gigantic Dyrus sign of like just the glasses.
Yeah, well, he won the game, but he did not get 34 deaths, so.
I know, it's very unfortunate for him. Kiwi Kid did make the record though. So, something new here for Dignitas. Of course, there's the handshake. Dignitas still looking for their up on this up and down season right there. Another loss to TSM, not who they wanted to be. But of course, you got the hometown there, it's TSM. Crowd's always going to cheer for them. Smiles on their faces for good reason. Guys holding on to first place pretty strongly here.
Yeah, they're happy. There's a lot of emotion out of Dyrus, actually.
Yeah. He's got longtime teammate Reginald. They used to play on a team back in beta together. So, 4-year-long partnership. One other game here on the stage. It's good players, of course.
Connection is strong.
It is. They've been working out. They've been working the team synergy out. I don't know. It was a random gesture.
You just wanted to say synergy, didn't you?
We do love that word here in the caster desk. It's a fun one. There's no synonyms really for synergies, so you just got to keep using it. But TSM, right, they came in business sort of as usual. Reginald held up his lane very well. He versus Scar is a very long-time mid-lane matchup. These guys have been playing for years. Reggie, again, getting the better of him here. His bottom lane, I got to say, Cutie Pie and Kiwi Kid did very well early on in lane. They won the lane. They got a bunch of pressure down. I think these guys held very nicely. The problem was Cutie Pie just kept dying in fights. Reggie got on him every single time and made sure that Jinx fell.
He did a great job. I mean, that's why I expected that Zed pick for Reggie. That's exactly what he likes to go for. If he can take down his target, doesn't matter if he sacrifices himself in the end. Team's able to follow up really well.
Yeah, made it happen. So guys, we're going to come back soon, and Reggie's going to join us to talk about his first day back on the Rift. Then it's going to be our final LCS game. It's a tiebreaker match for 5th place Coast versus Evil Geniuses. Stay tuned.
I'm poking them. I'm going for this.
Okay. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Just back up.
Just
Any
use
flash.
Baron regen.
Any. I can't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere.
Go, just go.
Who's
Just
tanking?
go.
Go.
On one's tanking, just go.
I'm going.
Just go. Front target. Crumbs.
I'm on Crumbs. I'm on Scar.
I'm a Crumbs.
Nice, good job.
Nice, we aced them. It's fine. Get tower.
No, they're ace. 40
Nice,
seconds.
nice. We can get an inhibitor.
40 on everyone, but
Yeah, we get hit.
Woo!